JWL Sports, where we review all the best sports clips from around the country. Now you're probably wondering, why should I watch over here instead of over there? Because over there, they don't care about what you have to say. They say this all the time. They talk down to us. They think we're just a bunch of clowns on YouTube, Twitter. But I think it's the opposite. I think we know exactly what we're talking about. So I read every single comment. So if you think what I'm saying is the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard, let me know in the comments below. If you think what I'm saying is the most amazing thing, then definitely please let me know. Either way, let's get into some discussions, let's get into some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and it's turning into something truly, truly special. I really believe we can build something that we all genuinely want to be part of and can't wait to interact with. So without further ado, let's get to it. Watching a clip of Undisputed talking about Josh Allen being 0-2 in the playoffs versus none other than King Patrick Mahomes. I think this record is misleading, and all of this is misleading. I'm going to let them talk. I haven't seen this clip, and then I will comment on it.
Josh Allen can slay the Patrick Mahomes beast in the playoffs. I got to go with the Kansas City Chiefs. He has beat him in the regular season. He's 3-1 versus Patrick Mahomes in the regular season, but he's 0-2 versus Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. And there's only two people who have ever sent Patrick Mahomes home with a loss in the playoffs, and that's Tom Brady, who's done it twice, and Joe Burrow. Nobody else has done it. Nobody else. And by the way, outside of Super Bowls, this is Patrick Mahomes' first road playoff game. That's pretty insane. But I just, this defense that they have, L'Jarius Sneed, he'll be on Stephon Diggs. I think they have the pieces. I just know anytime I bet against Kansas City in a game like this, Patrick Mahomes goes and the game's close at the end. He takes over. Rashee Rice, Pacheco, Travis Kelce, everybody turns it up a notch, and you look up and they're somehow winning the game, and they're in the AFC Championship again. So until Josh Allen shows me and proves to me, hey, I can go to the playoffs and I can beat Patrick Mahomes and I can keep going, I got to go with the Kansas City Chiefs.
It's certainly special to watch Josh Allen play this past weekend against Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, he's just a different animal out there on the field. But that was Pittsburgh. It was a different situation. They didn't have a whole lot, although they was fighting and trying hard. And we obviously saw the final results of that game. But like Richard said, when you look at it, for whatever reason, I have Kansas City going into Buffalo, a place that has not been the greatest home field advantage to Buffalo in the past. If you just look at Denver, went in there this year and won. Okay, Cincinnati went in there last year and won in a playoff game. So when you start to really break it down, Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes, first time on the road in the playoffs, 2-0, as Richard said, against in the postseason against Josh Allen, 3-3 lifetime. Okay, most of the games except one game has been in Arrowhead. Now, all of a sudden, Patrick Mahomes goes to Buffalo in a hostile environment. I'm sure the weather will be crazy, all of those sort of things. But something tells me that Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, and Kelce and company, they just know how to win games. Remember, they played earlier this year. It was 20-17. I think that was the score, 20-17 in Week 14.
So this is what I want to point out, though, because look how at the bottom it says, it's a little bit harder to see because, we have the video thing there, but it says Josh Allen 0-2 in playoffs against Mahomes. It's not that the Bills are 0-2 against the Chiefs. We paint it as it's Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes. But then when they talk about how the Chiefs can win or how they've won in the past, it's because they say they say like Andy Reid and Travis Kelce, they know how to win. Like they point to the fact that Patrick Mahomes has all of these gifts that Josh Allen has none of. Okay? And that's what's getting frustrating to see this narrative. The teams are not equal. All of these games were on the road because the Chiefs have been a superior team, because they have better players and they're better coached, and they have one of the best offensive head coaches in the history of the NFL, and they have one of, if not the best tight end in the history of the NFL. And for years, and for definitely one of those games, if not both of those games, if memory serves me correctly, at the very least one of those games, they had Tyreek Hill, who at the time is the best wide receiver in the game. At the very least, the fastest wide receiver in the game, which is matters, right? Obviously, the one big game we saw, Tyreek Hill was big in that. So was Travis Kelce. Josh Allen does not have that. He does not have those gifts. So to say that this is Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes, it's unfair. Because you say it's Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes, but look what Patrick Mahomes gets to work with. It's like, what? That doesn't make sense. Seriously, I mean, that's absurd. I mean, it really is. I mean, it's like the whole joke of, don't bring a knife to a gunfight. And that's what ends up happening when it's the Chiefs versus the Bills. I mean, they're outcoached. They have better offensive weapons. They have a better team just overall. And they're usually home. So it's like, of course. So that's what I just don't think is really, really fair. And that's where Josh Allen consistently gets the short end of the stick. That's where all the Patrick Mahomes fanboys just want to say, oh, you're making excuses for Josh Allen. And, Mahomes is the best and this or that. Mahomes is obviously great. Mahomes is obviously elite. No one's disputing that. And if you are disputing that, then, I don't know what to tell you. I really don't. Because obviously Patrick Mahomes is elite and great. But to act like Josh Allen has been given the same resources and tools that a Patrick Mahomes has been given, and that just Josh Allen is just squandering them or just not able to play good enough relative to Patrick Mahomes, is BS. It's just not accurate. Let me know when Josh Allen has a Hall of Fame head coach. Let me know when Josh Allen has a Hall of Fame, not only a Hall of Fame tight end, but again, going down in books as the greatest tight end. And same thing with the greatest head coach. I mean, you just don't have that. And let me know when he has a wide receiver as good and as fast as Tyreek Hill, especially as good as Tyreek Hill was playing, the years that he was with Patrick Mahomes. That's not Diggs, okay? It's just not. And their coach is obviously not, Andy Reid. I mean, obviously. So it's just like kind of absurd statement. Patrick Mahomes has a new offensive coordinator in the middle of the season. That is so hard. We are not talking enough about that. We talked more about Lamar Jackson having a new offensive coordinator, and he's excelled in it, obviously. But he got to start. He went into the camp with this new offensive coordinator. He got to work with him, have conversations with him, all this type of stuff. They did this in the middle of the season. It's really difficult, and no one's giving Josh Allen that credit. So these have just consistently been unfair fights. This right now seems to be the fairest fight that the Bills will have against the Chiefs, especially because the Chiefs no longer have that elite wide receiver, obviously, in Tyreek Hill, and Tyreek Hill is no longer playing at this like next level elite Hall of Fame level. He's still obviously really good, but he's not the Travis Kelce that that we once knew. But Andy Reid is still Andy Reid, and Josh Allen and the Bills are dealing with a lot of injuries, especially on the defensive side of the ball. What will that look like come time the game? I don't know. And the Chiefs have 2 extra days rest, which is a big deal. 2 days might not seem like a lot, but when you're playing in the NFL where players are getting 5, 6, 7 days worth of rest, an extra 2 days is a big percentage. It's a big chunk worth more. I mean, it's a big force multiplier. And it really matters, especially in the playoffs, especially when you're banged up, especially when you're playing in these really cold conditions where you feel every single hit. It really matters. These are not excuses. As I said in a previous video, excuses are cheap. Reasons are real. This is authentic. Like these are real things, and it really isn't fair. All playoff teams should be absolutely, not just the Chiefs versus Bills. Everyone should have the equal rest. Why should one team get extra rest versus the other team? That's not fair. It's really not. It makes no sense. Zero. And so that's really irritating to hear, honestly. And especially when you're talking about the playoffs, especially when you're talking about like this game is supposed to be really, really exciting, and it's Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes. Like this is what the NFL wants to have every single year. You know, if it was possible to have them in a Super Bowl going against each other, the NFL would lose their mind. And so to now have it kind of be shortchanged by some of these issues is frustrating. Hopefully it doesn't, end up mattering and it's not too big of a deal. And hopefully the Bills can kind of get healthy. I don't know. I don't know how bad some of their injuries are or what the story is with regards to that. Haven't looked into it too deeply, but these are our legitimate concerns. With that said, I'm still picking Patrick Mahomes. Or with that being said, I'm still picking Josh Allen. I think the Bills have a better team. I think Josh Allen rises to the occasion. And I think, also the Chiefs just aren't good enough this season. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. They're just flat out not good enough. There's a reason why this is Patrick Mahomes' first road game in his career, outside of the Super Bowl, of course. It's because the Chiefs are just not as good as they were in years past, and Patrick Mahomes is not playing as good as he was in years past. It's almost like the players around him affect how good he is. Interesting. That's a shocker. I mean, like, it's no surprise.
Season, Buffalo beat them, but it was only 20-17. It wasn't 40-17. So when I look at that, and Buffalo's defense, they lost a couple players in the Pittsburgh game.
They did.
So that defense is steadily falling apart, just continuously falling apart every time you look up. I know it'll be a close game. I just have Kansas City, for whatever reason, in the AFC Championship game. Now, whether or not that championship game will be in Arrowhead, depending on what Houston does in Baltimore, I just got them being in the AFC Championship game.
You giving Houston a shot?
Man, every time you say, I'm picking Baltimore to go to the Super Bowl, but every time you say, he's young and C.J. Stroud.
Well, we all said Cleveland would win down in Houston.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So we're like, Jordan Love, he's young, and they just go out there and do it. Baker Mayfield, he's this, he's that, he's going to Detroit. Jared Goff,
well, it's because the Eagles are terrible.
He's got
that wasn't anything
game.
to do with
So
Baker Mayfield.
I'm just going to say this. I wouldn't be shocked or surprised if Houston put up a good fight.
Okay.
We could put up a good fight because we're going to win.
Back to Josh Allen. I'm leaning on this day, on Tuesday, toward Josh Allen finally breaking through in a game that really
you
matters.
Don't like Patrick Mahomes, though.
Well, I just think I've never liked Josh Allen. And I got to give it up to him because ever since that Denver debacle,
Josh Allen? What has he done to you?
It was a night game. Was it a Monday or Sunday? I can't remember. But it was, right? And ever since then, obviously, my team went up there, got bum rushed right off the field, mostly by James Cook, and Josh completed only 7 passes of that game out of 15 attempts. But Josh is starting to win me over because it feels like he's growing up right before your very eyes and figuring out you cannot throw it to the other team and win at this level. You cannot do crazy things with the football and get it stripped and scooped and scored on you and win at this level. And I really liked the way he played. It was yesterday afternoon, but for us, it was a night game because it felt like even against, there was no TJ Watt, I got it, but it's a Mike Tomlin coach defense, and they're going to play hard, and they're going to make it hard on you. And Josh was really good in that game. In that 52-yard run, as he said, my teammates all screaming, get down, get down, get down. And I kept running, and I ran all the way into the end zone. Well, he's capable because here it is.
Be nice for them to tackle him.
Try to tackle him.
Mika Fitzpatrick, an all-pro. I mean, it'd be nice for you to hustle.
Maybe.
It'd be nice for you to hustle.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll be putting that on the film as they watch it.
Okay, but he is 6'5", and he does weigh 250 pounds.
That's fine.
And he can run.
But if I got my secondary standing around looking, I mean, I can walk in the end zone there.
All right.
Like, come on, man.
All right. And then he can throw these rockets. He threw one to the guy who wanted Dallas to draft Dalton Kincaid. If we could see the 29-yarder to Kincaid, because it was
up the seam.
Rocket. Yeah.
Oh my God,
it was sweet, man.
And that's the thing. I mean, this game is going to be really exciting, and obviously I'm really excited for it. It's definitely this and the Packers 49ers game, I think. Obviously, Baltimore, Lamar. I guess what it comes down to is these games for the playoffs right now. What has the potential to be the most interesting, right? That's the kind of way I look at it. Obviously, the Bills versus the Chiefs is super interesting, right? We want to see that unfold. And then also, since the Packers had such a rout against the Cowboys, the real question is like, can they potentially legitimately make some noise for the 49ers? Because a lot of people see the 49ers as are able to get beaten because obviously they got rocked by the Ravens, as well as a lot of people don't think that, Brock Purdy and also Shanahan can play from behind. So the whole thing is like, can the Packers, really get a lead and get a jump and really kind of make some noise? Like, that's a legit possibility. I mean, I think Detroit will absolutely beat Baker Mayfield and the Bucks. Like that, I don't question that. And the truth is, CJ Stroud obviously had a great first game, but the Ravens should win that game pretty convincingly. I mean, they should. Obviously, anything can happen. It's the playoffs. That's what's exciting. They should win. I'll tell you what we don't want to see. We do not want to see, CJ Stroud, unless you're obviously a Houston Texans fan, they just squeak on by somehow past the Ravens because of like a key injury or a bang up or just like a crazy fumble. And then now they go ahead and play like, Patrick Mahomes in Arrowhead. Like, that's like the least interesting thing that could happen right now. Unless CJ Stroud ends up winning and then going to the Super Bowl, right? Rookie. Like, that's the only way that turns out okay, is if CJ Stroud leads his team to the Super Bowl. Then that's exciting. Rookie, first time, it'll be one of the first times like ever, if not the first. It won't be the first time, but it might be the first rookie starter. And so like that would obviously be exciting. But it's just, I always root for exciting storylines, and I root for fair fights and not cheap victories. So I really, really hope the Bills can get right. I hope they can heal up. I hope some of their injuries maybe aren't as bad as originally thought, and that they can still go. And I just hope we get to see a good game. But what do you all think? What do you think about this whole Josh Allen is 0-2 versus Mahomes, but then let's talk about how good the Chiefs are and the Bills, and when we just pick and choose when we want it to be an individual versus a team. I love those picking and choosing. Let me know in the comments below what you all think, and please don't forget to subscribe, and definitely please give this video a thumbs up. It really helps with the visibility and the algorithm, and I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much, and see you next time.